Hey, today we're going to talk about Wolff's Law and Davis's Law, how they apply to your body, and really how they apply to your life. So, Wolff's Law and Davis's Law both state that the body will remake and remodel itself based on the stresses that it incurs or that you put it on. So, Davis's Law is kind of like used in working out. So, it applies to soft tissue. So, if you are working out and you're lifting weights, say you're doing bicep curls, your muscle is put under increased stress, and with that increased weight, and what it's going to do is it's going to remake and remodel itself bigger to deal with that increased stress or that increased weight it has to deal with, so it increases its strength and size. Right? Makes sense? Now Wolff's Law applies more to the bones, and the bones will change shape based on the stresses that are put upon them. So when we look at the body itself, this is a neck here on this x-ray. So we're looking at things like this. The normal posture of the neck is along this green arc here. Now, what I'm seeing a lot these days is that really people are losing the natural curvatures in their neck. And I'm noticing this a lot younger than I used to in practice. So I used to just see this in people as they got into their late 20s, into the 30s, once they've been working at a desk for 10 plus years kind of thing. Now we're seeing it a lot in teenagers. Why? Because of cell phones. So they've been growing up with cell phones from a much earlier age than I ever did. And what ends up happening is you're in that posture all the time, and the neck ends up changing shape. And once this normal curvature is lost, essentially all of the pressure in the neck starts to kind of sit at the bottom. And what ends up happening to those bones is they'll widen, or elongate to deal with that increased compressive force. Because we always have gravity coming down on us, right? So the bones are changing shape to deal with that increased force, so creating a bigger foundational support for the neck. Now, it's pretty simple. I mean, the farther the head goes forward on your body, the more work your neck has to do. Now, the trouble is this new bone that forms, it often forms jagged. It's not as good as the original bone in terms of quality. And it can start to push into your tissues and cause inflammation and things like pain, right? Numbness, tingling, that kind of stuff, depending on what structures it pushes on. So what we want to do is we want to assess this, kind of try to find this stuff early, correct the structure of the neck and the back, back to a normal structure to minimize pressure in the future, minimize damage. And that can always be done. We can always help. Very few instances where someone's at a stage where we can't help them. Other ways Wolff's Law and Davis's Law come into effect here are basically like if you're looking at balance. So we'll assess that a lot in the office. So one is, we'll have you on two different weight scales. We'll check your balance while we're checking your posture. And we'll see, earlier today I had someone that was 30 pounds more on the left side this morning. Now, if you can imagine over time, that knee and that hip will take 30 pounds more pressure on it all day, every day. So that knee and hip will start to wear down quicker as he gets older. Now, when we look at the other side, now Davis's Law will apply to the other side. Wolff's Law apply to the joints. Davis's Law apply to the soft tissues. And because the other side isn't working as much, that side will essentially start to thin the muscles, and you'll start to have atrophy there. So that isn't good in itself either, and then you can have other problems associated with that. So what we want to do is really find this stuff early, correct it with proper structure, proper alignment, proper range of motion. Will minimize any of these effects as you get older, and keep you living long, happy, healthy lives doing everything that you love to do. All right, have a great day.